We think of sleep nowadays as this big nuisance in our lives that is preventing us from being successful, preventing us from doing that last productive thing, so we try to limit it as much as possible. Well, I hate to break it to you, but cutting down on your sleep to squeeze in that last hour of productivity is not going to magically make you successful in life. I mean, just think about it. We spend a third of our lives just sleeping. I mean, this near-death state has gotta be important if we're spending so much time in it. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, good sleep quantity and quality is linked with positive cardiovascular, neurological, cognitive, emotional, and physical health benefits. Sleep is the time we recover from all our worries and the stressful situations that are going on in our lives and putting all that to rest for just a bit. So why are we cutting down on it and preventing this process of processing these emotions and these worries? Okay. So you're aware of all the positive benefits of sleep, but you just can't get a good night's sleep. You know, you're lying down in bed, then you roll to your right side and then your left side and then on your back, and then you take off your shirt, then you put on the blanket, and then you remove the blanket, you cool down the room, and then you try lying on the other side, you flip the pillow. You've tried everything and you still cannot fall asleep. Well, I can't promise you that you'll magically fall asleep after watching this video, but what I can promise you is that we can facilitate the process of finding out things that may be affecting your sleep quantity and quality, and what might be preventing you from falling asleep or staying asleep. So, here are some things that can help you fall asleep. First, establishing a good bedtime routine. Our bodies are very complicated, yet they're very simple. They like things happening at the exact same time every single day, and that includes sleep. We have a built-in biological clock inside our bodies that operates based on sunlight. This clock is known as the circadian rhythm. This clock actually operates in a very simple manner. When there is sunlight outside, your body knows that it is daytime and regulates the release of specific hormones and specific functions inside the body based on the time of the day. And surprise, surprise, sleep is included as part of this circadian rhythm. When there's no longer any light outside, your body knows that, hey, it's dark outside, it's time to sleep. So naturally, when you're going to bed, you should probably follow this circadian rhythm. When it is night outside, you should go to sleep, and when it is daytime outside, then you should wake up. That's the general principle. There's no specific time of the day that you're supposed to fall asleep and you're not supposed to fall asleep, but generally falling asleep should happen during the night and continue throughout the night, and waking up should happen in the morning. What this means is that even if you do sleep the optimal amount of hours, which by the way is about 8 hours during the day, for example from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. during the morning period, yeah, you've slept 8 hours, but that sleep quality isn't exactly the same as the sleep quality you would get from sleeping from, say, 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. The reason for the 8 hours during the night being more beneficial sleep than the 8 hours during the day is that you're going against the circadian rhythm when you are sleeping in the day. Your body operates on the biological clock. So when you sleep at night, it releases specific hormones that are only released at night. When you sleep during the day, those 8 hours, then your body is very confused on what to release and doesn't exactly fall into the correct stages of sleep, and that compromises on the quality of sleep itself. That's cool, but how do we establish a good nighttime routine now? Well, for starters, avoiding naps during the day is probably a good idea. If you're feeling sleepy during the day, try to hold it and just keep it for the nighttime so you can sleep the full 8 hours during the night. If you do sleep during the day, you may oversleep a little bit, and that may affect you from falling asleep during the night. Avoid demanding mental tasks such as studying or demanding physical tasks such as a workout a few hours before sleep, because those heighten your stress hormones, and when those stress hormones are heightened, these prevent you from falling asleep. Now, as we mentioned, having a good nighttime routine is very important, but to establish it, we need to establish the right environment for sleep, which is the second thing we need to consider. We need to create a suitable, comfortable sleep environment to get that wonderful rest. You know, back in the day, our ancestors relied on the sun to get them to wake up, and then when the sun went down, the lights grew dimmer and everything went dark, and that signaled to their body that they needed to go to sleep. Nowadays, we have constant exposure to stimulation during the night, and that causes our brains to stay more heightened during the nighttime, and this prevents us from falling asleep quickly. So naturally, we need to try to eliminate these stimulants. What I found extremely useful is trying to mimic the natural progression of the day in your environment. So just look at nighttime and try to follow the exact same thing in your room. Dim the lights, cool down the room, avoid mentally stimulating tasks like studying, and say you have a very important deadline the next day because you were procrastinating. If you are going to work during the evening and night, please do it outside the room you're supposed to sleep in, because when you do work in the same room that you're sleeping in, or even worse, trying to work on the bed that you're sleeping with, this signals to your brain subconsciously that, hey, this is a work environment. And when you do try to go to sleep later, your brain associates this environment with working and enters a heightened state. You should reserve the room that you're sleeping with for just sleeping. This will condition your brain into thinking that this room is only meant for sleeping, and that would prime your brain into fatigue mode and sleep mode, allowing you to get that comfortable sleep as fast as possible. Awesome. So it's nighttime, you're in bed, you're prepared to fall asleep. For starters, try to eliminate exposure to your phone or any other electronic devices 30 minutes to an hour before falling asleep. When your eyes aren't detecting any light entering them, your brain starts releasing a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone inside our bodies that helps us fall asleep. When we expose our eyes to these artificial lights, it's preventing the release of this hormone, making it very difficult to fall asleep. So again, I would put the phone entirely outside the room, not even think about using the phone even instinctively. That is probably the safest bet to help you fall asleep faster. And when you are trying to fall asleep, please try to keep the room as dark as possible and make sure to hydrate, but don't hydrate too much because you'll need to go to the bathroom and that'll get you awake. Alright, so you've done all of that and you're still not falling asleep. Well, I'm gonna list some things that you should probably avoid to help you fall asleep faster. Number 1, very important, avoid drinking caffeine 6 to 7 hours before your bedtime. Caffeine is a stimulant and it stays in your body for long periods of time. You're not doing yourself a favor when you're drinking that evening coffee. Remember, caffeine is a stimulant. That means that even if you do fall asleep, it's gonna make that sleep quality not so good. A lot of the beneficial mental processing and memory consolidation that happens during sleep may be prevented by the caffeine you're taking. And after all, a lot of the times you do take caffeine before falling asleep, you wake up feeling miserable. Second thing, if you're having trouble falling asleep, please don't use alcohol to help you fall asleep. I know it sounds tempting to knock yourself out with a big drink because you're having trouble falling asleep, but trust me, you do not want to do this. There's evidence out there that alcohol isn't exactly the best friend of sleep. Sure, alcohol can help you fall asleep faster, but that quality of sleep, just throw it out of the window. I mean, what's the point of falling asleep faster if you're not gonna benefit anything and you're gonna wake up feeling miserable in the morning, huh? Third thing, if you're in bed and you're anxious about falling asleep or you're worried about some stressful situation going on in your life, maybe a coworker has a problem with you or having relationship problems, consider using relaxation techniques such as stretches or breathing right before falling asleep. I'll have some links down in the description so you can check them out and see if they can help you out. Generally, if you are rolling in bed for more than 20 minutes because of anxiety or anything that's going on in your head, I would recommend just getting out of bed, doing something relaxing outside, whatever you find relaxing to you, and then when you do feel fatigued again, come back and try to fall asleep again. You rolling in bed and trying to force yourself to sleep isn't gonna help. I want to mention this again, but please avoid taking naps during the day. Like, even if you pulled an all-nighter the previous night or on 2 hours of sleep, still try to power through the day all the way to the night so you can sleep at the natural time. When you take these naps during the day, it may make it extremely difficult for you to fall asleep during the night, and that's why I just recommend powering through, going all the way to the night, and then just taking it from there. Obviously, if you feel like you're about to pass out, please do sleep anyways. A nap won't be the end of the world, but if you can power through, please power through. Lastly, if none of the things that we listed work, you can consider using medication to help you fall asleep faster. Things like melatonin. Very important caveat though is that you only use them for a few nights. You should not be relying on these medications to fall asleep every time, because eventually you may develop a tolerance to them and you need to increase the dose to help you fall asleep. And when you don't have access to these medications and you've been reliant on them, the moment you stop them, you can no longer fall asleep. So it is very, very important for you not to rely on these medications. If you've been suffering from difficulty sleeping, then consider seeking out professional help. Consider visiting your doctor and see what's going on. There might be some underlying disorder that may be preventing you from falling asleep. Whatever the cause is, or even if there is no cause, your doctor can help you identify it and help you manage it from there. Now, I know I didn't help you fall asleep magically to my spell, but I hope I did point out some things that may be affecting your sleep quality or the ability for you to fall asleep. However, if you do click that like and subscribe button, I will magically cast a spell on you that will help you fall asleep instantly. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Have a wonderful sleep.